After sampling some of the great goodies set out by the friendly volunteers, the Numbuns team was ready to conquer the ride around Clark County. After a steep half-mile climb right out of the box, the initial 15 miles to the first rest stop is mainly a flat meander through the East Vancouver neighborhoods. After about mile 10 though, you will run into some rollers. The rollers end with a fast 1-mile descent to the rest stop at LaCent's Lake. There you'll find restrooms, fluids, and food, including a great concoction known as trail putty. After the first rest stop, the next 29 miles to the Molten Falls rest stop consists of rolling terrain and flats with 3 particularly large rollers. The first of these is at mile 18, just after LaCent's Lake. It's a 2.2 mile, 3% 280-foot climb along the southwestern flank of Green Mountain. The second climb starts just after mile 24. It's a tapering 3.3 mile, 215-foot climb along East 212th Street with initial grades of about 3.5%. Shortly after the second climb, there's a shallow but high-speed descent into Hawkinson. Be absolutely sure not to blow that stop sign at the end of the descent. And after riding through some beautiful flats past Hawkinson, you'll have a final roller of about 1.1 mile, 200-foot climb along the southeastern flank of Tukes Mountain with a steep little pitch right in the middle of about 5%. After that, it's about 4 miles of descent or fast flats until mile 37, the turnoff for the 66-mile riders. Just a few fast, flat miles after the split with the 66-mile riders, you begin the easy rolling climb along Lucia Falls Road to Molten Falls State Park. This is a 5.5 mile, 300-foot false flat ascent with a few steeper pitches along the way. Along Lucia Falls Road, there's the occasional glimpse of the East Fork of the Lewis River, and just before you reach the rest stop, you'll see the falls themselves. Although the rest stop is just about at the halfway point and it's at the high point of the ride, the toughest half of the ride is yet to come. At the start of the 32-mile stretch to the next rest stop at Daybreak Park, you begin a 5-mile false flat ascent through Yakult towards Amboy. After the ascent, there's a fast 7.5 mile, 650-foot descent. It's fast, but it's broken up with lots of rollers, some of which are pretty steep. At Pup Creek Road, you'll turn right, where you'll be faced with another steep climb followed by a mix of flats and rollers. Sitting at a stop sign, wasting time. This stretch is one of the most beautiful parts of the ride. Ship just won't shift out of neutral. You say that you'll be ready soon, but I've already heard that tune, and I don't think you're ready for a new. After a steep drop, then climb out of the Lewis River Valley, at mile 63, you will begin the biggest sustained climb of the ride. A 1 mile, 270-foot climb with sustained grades of 7% with 9% pitches. The climb seems to go on and on, but after the climb there's a sustained 6 mile, 600-foot drop with 1 or 2 nasty rollers mixed in. The worst of these rollers is a steep but short roller on 14th Avenue about 2 miles before LaCenter.
Call a cab or fly a plane, I'm sick of waiting in this intersection. Waiting takes time and I ain't got my shirt all buttoned and my shoes on.
After passing through the metropolis of LaCenter, You'll have a fun, sharp, high-speed drop into Lockwood Creek, immediately followed by a fierce climb back out of the creek bottom. While only 3/10 of a mile, the climb out of Lockwood Creek is a steep and nasty climb with grades topping out at 11%. The rest of the ride to Daybreak Park is fairly easy. You'll take a steep drop down to the floodplain of the East Fork of the Lewis River, and it's pretty flat until just before the rest stop. The rest stop is on the left, just after you cross the East Fork of the Lewis River. Be very careful making the left turn into the park. The last 25 miles of the ride after Daybreak Park to the finish are by far the toughest. After the climb out of the floodplain, you'll be doing a lot of this, up and down, for the ride turns into a nightmare of seemingly endless shark teeth rollers, each one taking a little piranha bite out of your legs. You'll get a short respite when you turn left onto Northeast 10th Street, but after the right turn onto Carty Street, the tough little roller coaster ride begins anew. At the top of the tough little climb at 209th Street, you'll finally have a great view of the West Hills, and you feel like you're almost home. You're not. After a long trip in and out of the Columbia River floodplain, you'll arrive at Northeast 41st Street. This is 10 miles left to go. And right after this, you'll be facing one of the most famous features of the RACC. The thrilling drop into the Salmon Creek floodplain, followed by the dismal climb out, otherwise known as the Falida Hill. By itself, this climb is little more than a nuisance, but after 90 miles of riding, it's a beast. Only 4/10 of a mile long and 150 feet, it reads grades of over 13%. A lot of people use this turnout at 135th place for a little respite. And when you see the stoplights at the top of McCann Road, you know you're nearly done. After cresting the top of Falida Hill, you have a nice little stretch, including a 3-mile gradual descent into the Columbia River floodplain. But you have one more challenge, Bernie Hill at mile 95. It's a mere 1/4 mile and 80 feet, but coming at the bitter end of the ride, it's a test of your love of cycling. And at the top, you've got 5 miles to go as you wend your way through West Vancouver neighborhoods. All in all, the RACC is a challenging but fantastic ride. Well supported and well organized, it's one of the best kept secrets on the Pacific Northwest ride calendar. Thanks for watching.